When the subject of basic needs for women and girls comes up for me, I think of a time many years ago when I was in graduate school and I was involved in an internship at a women's shelter. And I remember before I went thinking I was going to be very different than these women. You know, I wouldn't have much in common with them, and I would go and listen compassionately and probably be able to offer them some advice. And of course, what happened to me over this experience was that listening to these women's stories really made me realize how, in fact, I also was vulnerable, particularly as a woman with young children. At the time, my husband was very well employed. I was in graduate school. I had an education. I had a nice house. I had healthy children. But it was this experience of being with these women in the shelter that I came to realize that should one brick be pulled out of my idyllic foundation, that all bets could be off. That if I lost my husband or we had an extended illness, what would happen to the graduate school? Would I be able to keep our house? Would I be able to find a job always that had insurance for my family? And so what I came to realize through that experience is that really we share these vulnerabilities as women. In my work with the Jefferson County Community Foundation and United Good Neighbors, I am acutely aware of the need for a safety net in this community for all of us. And as women, we actually are sisters in our vulnerabilities, but we are also sisters in our strength. And so we see women in our community who are single moms. We see elderly women living off of small Social Security checks because they didn't make a lot of money and because they were raising families. We see families with extended illnesses, people with not enough insurance. And these are things that could happen to any of us. And if there's anything that we've learned in the last few years during this economic downturn, it's that most of us, even those of us who think that we are solidly middle class, for many of us, we know that we're a paycheck or two away from an economic personal crisis.